Welcome back. In today's lesson, we're going to take inequalities and learn how to create them from a written description. So I'm going to give you some symbols and some common phrases, and we're going to look at how we can sort of translate sentences into those symbols and numbers. So we've got our less than symbol. Some common phrases that are used to describe a less than relationship are, well, obviously less than. If we see less than, we're understanding that whatever that value is less than the value after it. We can also say fewer. We can say no more than. If I have no more than, 10 apples, I can't have 10. I can have 9, 8, 7, 6, so I can have numbers that are less than 10. Less than or equal to has phrases that are like at most. There can be at most 20 students in the room. I can't have more than that, so I have to have less than that, but I could have 20. So in that way, 20 is equal to. We can also say a maximum. This is a similar meaning. For the greater than symbols, for just a greater than symbol, we can say more than. We can't say more, greater than, or equal to because there's no equal to sign, so it's just more than. We can also say no less than. And for greater than or equal to, a couple common ones are at least and minimum. So these are just a few that we're going to see as we go through some translating today. There are others, and there are other situations where inequality is appropriate, and sometimes you just have to use logic, and we'll sort of see what that looks like later on. Okay, so let's take a look at translating inequalities. Write an inequality that represents the description. So letter A says, a number less than or equal to 15. When you see something like a number, we don't know what that number is. We know that it has to be less than or equal to 15, so I can put the less than or equal to 15. When we don't know what a value is, what do we put? Well, we can put X. You could also put N or A or C or whatever letter you like. I'm going to be using X's because it's just pretty consistent, but you could use N or whatever you like. So a number less than or equal to 15 is X is less than or equal to 15. Example B, a number is greater than or equal to 4. So here's my number, and it's greater than or equal to 4. So far, so good. Letter C, a value is at most 50. So I'm always going to start with my variable on the left side, every time. The trick is, what symbol do I use? This says at most 50. If it's at most 50, it can't be 51, it can't be 52, so it has to be numbers that are less than or equal to 50. It could still be 50, so I can use my equal to line, but it can't be more than 50, so it has to be less than 50. I know it seems a little counterintuitive because you see the word most and you think big. You think, oh, that's at most, so must use greater than, but it's kind of opposite the way your brain thinks about it. Letter D, a value is more than 50. So here's my value X, more than, and 50. I'm going to use that greater than symbol. I'm not going to use the equal to part because it can't be 50. It has to be more than 50. Letter E, the greatest possible value of a number is 30. So here's my number X. The greatest value is 30. So it could be 30, but it has to be less than 30. It cannot go over because the greatest possible option is 30, not 31, not 32. So it has to be less than or equal to 30. Okay. Going on, some of these are going to get a little bit trickier because now we're going to start using the equal symbol. Okay. We're not going to start using the equal symbol, but we're going to start including longer expressions, not just a number. So let's look at letter F. The sum of 5 and 2x. So I'm just going to highlight that part right there. So the sum of 5 and 2x. So when I think of sum, I'm going to think of 5x plus 2x because that's what sum is. And then the at least 70, that's going to be greater than or equal to 70. Okay, so 5x plus 2x is greater than or equal to 70. Okay, I don't necessarily need you to simplify here. I just need to be able to know that you can take the sentence, translate it, sort of like we did in 2.2, but now include that inequality symbol with it. Letter G, 4x minus 6 has a maximum value of 54. So 4x minus 6, it has a maximum value of 54, so that's less than or equal to 54 because it can't go over. Its maximum is 54. Letter H, the minimum value of 2x minus 3 is 13. So this is worded just a little bit differently. So we've got the minimum value of 2x minus 1. If it's a minimum value, that means it has to be greater than or equal to 13. Because it can be 13, but it can't be lower than 13. That's the lowest it can go. That's the minimum. Okay. Letter I, 6 less than a number. I'm going to highlight that as well because 6 less than a number can be kind of tricky because remember when I have that phrase less than, that means that the 6 goes at the end and the number goes in front. So 6 less than a number is actually x minus 6. And then we have is less than 4, so that's going to be less than 4. So that's kind of a tricky one. You've got to be able to do a little bit of what we did in 2.2, and now a little bit of what we're learning here with the inequality. J just says a speed limit of 55. So if the speed limit is 55, what numbers are we allowed to go on the road? Can we go 60? Should we go 60? Should we go 65? No, we should go values that are equal to or less than 55. Okay, so while that didn't have one of the common phrases I listed at the beginning of the video, we can use logic to realize, oh, right, I can go 55. I could also go less than 55 and still be okay in terms of the law, right? Letter K, a number doubled is at least 19. I know that I'm going to have a greater than or equal to 9 here because it has to be at least 9. It has to be 9 or bigger, so greater than 9. A number doubled, double means we are multiplying by 2. So in this way, I'm going to have 2x is greater than or equal to 9. A number doubled. And finally, this is the trickiest one. This 2 times the sum of a number and 5 is at most 20. I'm going to go ahead and start with the is at most 20 because I know that that's going to be less than or equal to 20. It can't go over 20. It's at most 20, so that's less than or equal to. And then I'm going to go ahead and try and figure out the other part of this translation. So 2 times the sum of a number and 5. Let me start back. The sum of a number and 5 is x plus 5. Then I want this 2 times the sum of that. So I'm going to have 2 times, and I'm going to put the green, the x plus 5, in parentheses. So 2 times that whole sum of x plus 5 is less than or equal to 20. That's the trickiest one on here. Okay? So take it step by step. Notice I'm using colors, I'm using highlighters, I'm giving myself clues. Those are things that you want to do on your practice to really master this learning target and feel good about it. Okay? As always, if you have any questions, please ask, and good luck.